All right, so first let me be clear about what I believe. I believe that no one should play like a metronome. The metronome at best is a very useful tool, but in terms of making music, I find it rather useless. So then, so again, making music is not metronomical. For me, not in any way. Now, does this mean that I'm suggesting we all take our metronomes and throw them out the window? No, not at all. Of course not. But I do think that it would be a good idea to explore how to exploit this object that we have loved to hate so much. We've come a long way with our dreaded metronome. You know what? I tell you, we've come a long way with that dreaded metronome from this old one to new apps on your phone like the one I was showing you when I started this video. But you know what? Its purpose remains the same. To keep us in time in the most boring and pedantic of ways. So where do we start? Well, a metronome is a device that divides time in a regular fashion, much to the dismay of composers such as Mendelssohn, Wagner, Verdi, Brahms, and others. But in spite of itself, it can be useful in helping us to organize and develop a vertical strategy for cleaning up a section of music. What I mean by vertical, or what I mean by a vertical strategy, is sort of like a ladder approach to problem solving, a step-by-step approach. If, for example, I have the goal of acquiring that utopian place where every bit of my bow sounds like every other bit of my bow, well, then a metronome can be quite useful in helping us to get there. Or shall I say, helping us to get close to there. So, to do our 24-note scale, let's turn our metronome on to 40. And we're going to allow 2 clicks per note. So you see how that works. Now, how about 2 notes to a bow? That would be 1 per click. Or 3. You might want to turn it to 20 to avoid 3 against 2 if that's an issue. All right, 4. 6. 8. 12. And 24. Well, I must say that I borrowed this idea from my friend Curt Sussmans Bow while he was doing a masterclass for the Music Share Young Artist program. He brought out this bow that had division marks like this one. You see? What this does is to help illustrate that time is distance. With that in mind, when we divide the bow to 2 notes to a beat, we also need to divide the bow into 2 equal parts. This will certainly help to regulate speed. To be sure of these distances, try stopping at each marker, like this. I'm going to stop at the silver and at the red and at the silver. Now, let's get practical for a moment. What exactly do we gain from doing this? Well, in a way, we've learned how to practice. We have learned a way to practice any scale-like passage we might find in a concerto, sonata, or an accompanied work. So let's have a look at Sarasate's Zigeunerweisen, the first run. The first question needed to be asked when trying to get it up to tempo is, how many notes are there in the run? In this case, there are 21, or 4 times 4 plus 5. So let's divide the bow up into 5 parts and practice it part to part, like this. Now, let's put the parts together. How about the first 2 fours? Next 2 fours. Last 5. And we keep doing this until we have a complete run. So that's another way to look at how the scales help us not only to play scales better, but help us in the pieces, the concertos that we play. So once you've learned to organize this way, practice this way, why don't you try finding scale passages in the pieces that you're working on and practice them the same way? I guess one could say practicing the scales in your pieces is the same as practicing a scale. What we've learned in practicing that scale, we take to the piece. You know what? You could even do this during your scale practice time. Save time. You could even make a book of scale excerpts from major pieces, like from the last movement of Mendelssohn, or from Barber Concerto, or Brooks' Scottish Fantasy, or Paganini Concerto. So, with that, my name is William Fitzpatrick, and I am the Henry Timianka Professor of Violin at the Hall Musical Conservatory of Music, which is located on the campus of Chapman University. I am as well Artistic Director of the Musicshare Young Artist Program. So, until next time, do take care, and here's hoping that this video helps you practicing to become more and more efficient, with our friend, the metronome. And that this is leading you to even better performances.